Hello, Leo friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Leo February 2024 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. This is for you if Leo is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Leo placement you're listening for. What we're going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Leo friend, so birthdays like August 15th through the rest of the sign, or Leo degrees around 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Virgo report, as your very late degree Leo friends will benefit from both readings. Calling the theme of this month, weird, wacky, wild, expect the unexpected, and I'll get into all the details as to why. This is a very exciting month. There are a lot of things to talk about here. I'm going to do my best to prepare you for the astrological tides so that you can understand what's going on and you can make the most of them and make this the best month possible. A lot of things to celebrate here. If you're listening to the podcast version, I have now started adding the thumbnail for the podcast as the chart. So make sure to check it out if you're interested in looking at it, okay? If you're not, then it's there. You can ignore it. For YouTube viewers, I am going to be referring to the actual chart this month. I haven't done it in a while. And then I have some slides to help me stay organized, so I'll be bouncing back and forth between those. Here's my list so that I stay focused. All right, so we're going to talk about these first bits or last bits of Capricorn here. We've got an unusual month in a lot of different ways. A lot of things that are not in the usual cycles happening at this time. And we'll get into the different layers. And that's including Capricorn still being pretty strong here, even though it's February. So Venus, Mars, Mercury, all at the beginning of the month, still in Capricorn, phasing out into Aquarius as the month goes on, but we still have this energy here. So if you need discipline, if you need to do tedious tasks, taxes, you're going to have more concentration now than you will be when those very scattered Aquarian energies start cropping up here, and those are going to be in opposition for all of your Leo placements. So you're going to be really, really busy and really distracted. So try to take some last juicy bits of this focused discipline time for taking action, because then you'll dwell more in the land of ideas, and it might be a little bit harder to take action, even though it's an amazing month for action all month, which we'll talk about, but you'll notice the difference here. So I just wanted to point it out. Okay, so now on to this wacky, weird, and wild time and expecting the unexpected. We've got 6 placements in Aquarius. This is very unusual. And Aquarian energy ruled by Uranus, also a lot of Uranus aspects this month. Other things to talk about here too, including we have the new moon in Aquarius. So we've got Venus moving into Aquarius, Mars, Mercury, Pluto's already there, the sun's already there. Then we have the new moon in Aquarius, February 9th at 20 degrees. Okay, so this is where we're at. Wacky, weird, wonderful, wild, unexpected, shocks, things coming out of the blue, genius ideas. Everything strange and unconventional is what's happening this month. This is a very wild time, okay? Now, for Leos, all of this energy is going to be in your house of partnerships. So this is an amazing time to bind together with other people, to collaborate, to support others, to be supported, to find your perfect support team, to be part of someone else's support team. This is an amazing time to join with a group of eccentrics. This is, the type of energy. Everybody knows that person, and some people know quite a few, I know I do, who are very futuristic, who feel like they're aliens and not from this planet, They feel just a very strange, different sort of non-terrestrial energy. Geniuses, eccentrics, idiosyncratic people. These kind of people are going to be showing up like crazy. So if you know these people, they might be very helpful to you at this time. Or they might just be like coming out of the woodwork. Okay, so chances to merge in wonderful ways are going to be through the roof, and doing strange and, very exciting things involving AI, things involving, patents and technology, and all of those things are going to be top on the list, and those can help you to solve problems right now. If you're not good at these things, you can find the perfect person who is, and that is what's going on. Now, other things coming in this time with this Aquarius energy has to do with groups, teams, your tribe, you lending your unique, very creative Leo voice to the community or to the group or to the cause or to the tribe. This is, something where your unique energy can flow beautifully, but it's very much for a bigger purpose, for something, that may feel greater than just creativity for creative's sake, creativity's sake, which is enough of a passion and purpose, right? But it's very purpose driven. So all of you will be feeling this energy, and it is in opposition. So let's talk about the energy of opposition. An opposition is a 180-degree angle. Mathematics is at the source of creation, and mathematics is at the core of astrology. So the angles that are made that become meaningful have mathematical significance astrologically. 180-degree angle is the push, the pull, the, being pulled in two different directions, or that beautiful magical point where you have all the balls up in the air and you're not dropping any of them. So I like to call it your superhero status, where you've got your own things you need, but you're doing them all. And then other people need things and you're doing it all. And you're just like in a groove. But it is very busy, and you will in many ways feel like you're being torn asunder in two different directions. Okay, so it's going to be very busy, very scattering, very dizzying. That's why I was saying, be extra diligent with using the energy at the beginning of the month while it's in Capricorn, because once it goes into this configuration, it's going to be really intense. But it can be really good, and it can be really fulfilling, and it can be very productive. Now, on February 9th, that 20-degree Aquarius new moon, all of you can feel the goodies and the new things in the Aquarian-related subjects or the relationship-related subjects then. But those of you who are close to 20 degrees, so we'll say between 15 and 25 degrees, so like August 5th through 15th, closer to around August 10th, you'll get extra notable outcomes from that moon. Okay, so now let's talk about something very exciting. This is also very unique and can lend itself to a lot of oomph behind whatever kind of weird things come up with these Aquarian, oddities. We've got 2 layers of open stars. If you're not familiar with my work, I will describe a little bit about open stars to you, if that's the term that I use. When planets are going retrograde is when from our point on the Earth, a planet looks like it's going backwards in its orbit. That's called retrograde. And it affects us on Earth. What we see and how it looks to us has an effect on how we experience it, even if we don't know about it. So all of these retrogrades are affecting us, even if we don't know about it. And retrograde energy lends itself to inward and backward, doing things over, redoing things, going back to the past. And the direct energies, so basically the retrograde energies I liken to the tide coming in. So you sit on the shore, more or less, and you wait for things to come to you. You sit in your web, if you're the spider, and you let the food come to you. That's retrograde. That was most of January and December. Now, February, and specifically January 21st through March 20th, the personal planets, which are Venus, Mars, and Mercury, are not only going to be direct, but they'll also not be in the shadow period. The shadow period is the period of time before and after the retrograde, where it behaves pretty much like a retrograde. You just don't know about it because you're not paying attention, even if you know about the retrograde. So January 21st through March 20th is a huge time for bringing things forward. Big commitments, engagements, weddings, parties, scheduling, planning for the future, investments, big moves, big decisions, big purchases, big sales, new jobs, anything that's huge and major will have not only the support of the openness and the clarity of these personal planets not being mischievous, but it also has the very rare, unique support of all the outer planets going direct. This is very uncommon. The 27th of January through May 2nd, we go through this cycle periodically where we have this happen, but it's not our usual experience. And this is a very unusual month. But from January 27th through May 2nd, those outer planets are going to also be direct. But be warned, in the time between March 20th and May 2nd, even though the outer planets may be bringing some things moving forward, from the outer planet perspective, I still suggest you utilize this window, January 21st through March 20th, for the things that you take action on, okay? Because once we get into that retrograde fog, even if the outer planets are going direct, You're still going to have a lot of, things come up and lack of clarity, and the tides will start coming in. But not now. February is all about getting your boat out to shore with the tides taking you far and wide, your message in a bottle getting all the way across the world, anything that you want to create an imprint. That is basically when you start something new, that is the birth chart for that project, and it stays with it for the whole project. So if you want to launch something, these are amazing stars to start something new in. Take full advantage of it, because as the year progresses, later in the year, we'll have a Mars retrograde. If you're interested in knowing my February 2024 retrograde direct open stars calendar, go to anniehelpsyou.com and then sign up for my secret star portal. I have that and written horoscopes and all kinds of stuff in there. But if you want to know that stuff further ahead than I tell you in the reports, then you can find it there. But for our purposes now, in the immediate future, this period of time, this open window, is going to be one of the few times we have this year where it really is indicated to make things happen, to push your whole self behind it, to be super active and really try and, push before we start the retrograde again. But this is the time, and Leos tend to be very active and ready to do things, and this is your time to shine. Okay, so now let's talk about the eclipses. We had a doozy of an eclipse set at the end of last year. We're still kind of recovering from that. I'm sorry if something terrible happened at that time. It was a really dramatic conclusion of the Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle. It had other intense things going on in October. It was very intense. But now we find ourselves back into the next eclipse season after a little bit of a break for integration. February through May 2024 is the next eclipse season. We are wholly focused on the Libra-Aries eclipse cycle at this time. Lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Libra is March 25th. Solar eclipse at 19 degrees of Aries is April 8th. Why are we talking about this in February? Because eclipse cycle starts at least 4 to 6 weeks before and lasts at least 4 to 6 weeks after each eclipse. So that puts us in February. So if we're not talking about it now, things are going to be happening and you're not going to know what the heck's going on. And I'm not going to let that happen because I'm going to tell you all about it. From early 2023 through early 2025, we're in the Libra-Aries eclipse cycle. The general storyline of Aries-Libra is me, Aries, versus we, Libra. That's my own little me-we explanation that I use here. And this is about this, it's your autonomy versus your combining, your interdependence, codependency, healing from codependency, anything having to do with me versus we and your personal relationships, big endings, big beginnings, new chapters. That's what it's all about. You can think back to 2013 to 2015, 2004 to 2006, and 1995 to 1997 if you were around then, because that's when we had these eclipses before. So you may see some common themes. Now, common question I get, I had something terrible happen in those years. Is it going to happen again? I don't know. Is the true and honest answer. But the bigger answer is not necessarily, because there were a lot of things at play at that time that are not, or those times that are not present now. This is one theme, one layer that has a continuity over those periods of time. But it doesn't mean that, everything will repeat. You will probably notice that you had big relationship things happen in those times. Very important people that became key players in your life came in then, and very important people, or even animals I've seen that, can come in and be key players now, which, by the way, if you're looking to get a pet and give a pet a forever home, this is an amazing month for that. Anything that you want to have a long shelf life is very well indicated at this time. One more layer to the eclipses that I want to mention before we move on to this, and we'll talk more about this in March and April, but we talked about the me-we profile, but let's also talk about the houses that are specific to Leo that are accentuated by the eclipses. So for Leo, it's the 9th house and the 3rd house that are being aspected with this eclipse cycle. So from 2023 through the beginning of 2025, you've got your education sectors, writing, publishing, speaking, communicating, transportation, mobility, long distance travel, broadening of horizons. And one of the very, very happy things that I can report about this is that both of these energetics are in a nice angle for Leo. So if you were shellacked by the Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle, as many of you I know were, that also, and the fact that, Pluto has been harassing you now that it's in Aquarius, that's a whole other story. But I know many of you Leos have been going through it. Some of that has to do with the Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle, which we're out of. And this eclipse cycle is much more friendly to you, okay? Because it makes these nice angles. The fire energy, the Aries part, makes the 120-degree angle most favorable in all astrology. The Libra part makes the 60-degree opportunity angle. So hopefully this can light things up. If you want to do something different for work, or you want to advance your current work, you may find that your keys over the next year or year and a half are in education. You may need more education to do what you want to do with your work. And this would be an amazing time to get into an education program, take courses, whether they're formal, informal, online, in person. This is very well activated. Also amazing for long distance travel and learning different languages. The ninth house is very much about, cultural understanding and expanding your understanding of the world beyond, and really just being this wise sage on the top of the mountain that has a broadened viewpoint, because you can see further and wider than if you were down at the base. All right. This ninth house is very much about that. And then there's the story of learning things and teaching others. So learning a bunch of stuff and then distilling it down to the most important things that you can help other people with. That's going to be very strong in this time. All right, so I'm going to give you some dates and some aspects to watch out for. If you're a person that loves to know ahead of time, dates to watch out for your planning purposes, you definitely want to go to anniehelpsyou.com. That link is in the notes underneath the podcast and the video also, that you can get to it directly. Because I'm going to give you some dates here, but if you want more, like my February 2024 astrology write-up, I'll give you a written storyline of what the month is like, the highlights, my favorite aspects, the ones to be awareful and careful of, and other things to note delivered into your inbox 1 month early. But I will give you a few here. Watch out in the days around the 8th and 16th. Notice I say days around. These aspects are very rarely just in effect on the day they happen. We have a square with the sun and then Mercury with Uranus. This is a very Uranian month, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. And now we have these aspects with Uranus as well. They're not nice aspects. They're jolty aspects. So unpleasant news and surprises and information, zapping and jolting from the Uranus squares, the whole month is very electric, and these aspects in particular, so just be super careful around electricity and anything like that. But you may be struck with an idea, feel like you were struck with a lightning bolt, and it may crack you out of, a pattern that needs changing. So that's the softer side to it, is the realization is a shock, but then you realize what you have to do. And this is an excellent time to make positive change. Okay, so that's our watch out. I've got a couple of yay days here. February 7th. And then February 13th, we've got nice aspects with Venus. Venus, ruler of love and beauty and money and self-esteem and all those goody, comfy, cozy, sustenance-based goodies. In a nice aspect with Uranus on the 7th. So happy surprises here. And on the 13th, a beautiful aspect with Neptune. It's really dreamy and intuitive. For anyone who celebrates Valentine's Day, this aspect can make it a really sweet day. And this whole month is really great for popping the question, making commitments, making plans, engagements, weddings. There are double the sweet aspects compared to salty ones this month. And that really lends itself to a lot of positive energy. And as I've already explained, moving forward in a very big way, things that were stagnant can be shaken up in a major way. And things that you feel like you're behind on, you can get caught up with and ahead really quickly. Think futuristic, think wacky, wild, weird, wonderful, eccentric, idiosyncratic. Think, out of the box, unconventional, and you'll find a lot of resources that will support you with everything that you're trying to do. Go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your email address and name there to access my free VIP community if you want to learn astrology. I'm an astrology teacher, as you probably have noticed, and I not only like to tell you what may happen, but also why. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I am your girl. You will love the free education there. You can also find my Astrology Basics course, which will teach you how to read charts in 6 easy steps. Or if you want to earn money as an astrologer or just help your friends and family, you can see my astrology certification course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course, where I equip you to take your love of the stars into the professional level. If you are a newbie, I can teach you all of the basics and get you up and running very quickly as you just apply the system that I put in place there. And if you already know astrology, I can help you to tie together those pieces. I have many people that have come to my course who have done astrology even longer than I have, which has been over 20 years, but have had a hard time piecing it together to say, what am I supposed to, talk about in this infinite set of possibilities? How you pull everything together in a coherent, cohesive form, and how you get your confidence to be able to read charts, plus learning the art of astrology, which is the intuition, at the same time as the science of astrology. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.